Yesterday, I talked to someone in my network who is working really hard towards their goals, but they seem quite frustrated and not really enjoying that journey. So I shared one story with them, which I thought you will also find interesting. There lived a young man in a remote village, and his father was so wise that everyone would come to him for advice, and he was well read, overall, a very intelligent person. However, the young man was very frivolous. He was not focused on his studies and he really lacked any goal and direction in his life. As the father got older, he became worried on account of his child. So one day, what he did is he packed a bag and just called upon his son. So he said, "Son, I would like to send you on a treasure hunt. And here's a map. You will find a treasure on this place, and it will be a long journey. However, I'm giving you some tools and some raw food, clothes, and some necessities which will be helpful for you along the way." So, young man thought that it's exciting and adventurous opportunity. So he decided to go on a trip for a treasure hunt. Now he started his journey, and it was pretty long. So along the way, there were many people who helped him in terms of providing food, shelter, and showing him the direction. So seasons kept on changing. It was a long journey, and however, the tools which his father gave, they were quite helpful as the seasons changed. So he kept on utilizing them. So one fine day, he reached a destination where there was a very large cliff, and probably the treasure was somewhere around. So the young man worked really hard. He kept on digging for 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, and still there was no sign of a treasure. He was so disappointed. He felt as if all his hard work was in vain. And at one point, he just decided to give up and go back to his home. So as he started traveling back, he was more observant towards how nature changes its form in different seasons, and he was quite appreciative of the beauty around the things. By that time, he had no food reserves at his disposal, so he had to learn hunting, finding out his own food. He became so skilled that just by looking at the position of the sun, he could make out what's the time in a day. He also met the same people who had helped me while he was going back. So he decided to stay for some time with them and repay them by helping out with something. And he was so appreciative of their kindness that they decided to help a stranger like him. Finally, he reached home. His father was quite happy to see his son coming back. So he asked him, "How was your journey, son? How did you feel when you went in search of that treasure?" So the son said, "I was so focused on my goal that I was not really observing the things around me. I was not enjoying anything. I was constantly in this state of fear that maybe somebody else will find out the treasure before me. So I was so worried and tense that, I didn't pay much attention to anything else." So then father asked like whether he found a treasure or not. So he said he worked really hard, but somehow he couldn't make it. So the son said, "Father, however, I enjoyed my journey while coming back. So I thank everyone, whoever helped me on the way, and I also tried to help them. And I really enjoyed the beauty of nature, and I learned so many things." So father smiled at him and said, "You know what? There was no treasure in the first place." Son was quite shocked. He said, "Then why did you send me on the journey, father?" So the father said, "Son, I would really want you to lead a life with a goal in mind. However, if you become too much focused on a goal, then you miss on the treasures of life. So experiencing life is equally important because it's not only about the destination, it's also about the journey and what you become out of it." That's all for today. Thank you.